All right, so here we are in the kitchen. Everything's the same the way we left it. Yeah, I always get nervous about this room because it's kind of the showpiece of the house. Everybody loves this kitchen. People come here just to see the kitchen. A real period piece. And you know, the thing about the kitchen is there's so many shelves here, and people don't really realize what exactly is on some of these shelves. So here's something that we never really get to do on tour. And over here, we have some of Louis and Lucille's recipes. So you'll see there's recipes here for, I'm just picking them randomly. There's chicken, brisket. There's lemon pudding. This looks like Louis's handwriting. Is that Louis's handwriting?
I can't tell from here, but it could. That's tough to see.
Okay, I'll get a closer picture. There's items here from recipes that they picked up. Gil Netter Best shrimp recipes. This thing is actually kind of packed. Newspaper clippings. I don't want to touch those. But here's the one that we keep up front, which is Canadian bacon. So it's definitely not a vegan diet, so to speak. Let me check that. And over here, we don't really get to show you this on the tours, but when you open these cabinets, you get to see just not well made this place is, but I mean, this place would be perfect for a quarantine. You could just stack up enough food to last you months in this place. It's pretty amazing. Over here, you'll see the refrigerator. And now the refrigerator, some of you might have noticed, it doesn't close all the way. Because the seal, when the house was empty for those 20 years, the seal had broken. So here's the inside of the refrigerator. And something that I've never really done before. And here's the freezer right here, like that. That freezer needs some work, man. Wow. I thought my freezer was bad. Okay. And now, Ricky,
maybe open up one of those curved cabinets just to show what that looks like the rounded.
Oh, okay. Now over here on the corner, we have one of the curved cabinets. And I don't know if you can see that from here. It's not. But here's one of the curved cabinets. I'll open the doors all the way up like this. Just so you get an idea. Hold on. There. So you can see the curved like that. This room right here, this is the guest. I mean, this was the breakfast nook. And if you came to the house before 2012, you might not have even seen this much, because at that point, our director at the time, Michael Cogswell, was using this as an ad hoc office. So this was blocked off for public viewing. And then we opened this up around 2012, if I remember correctly, once we moved into Selma's house.
Right.
So if you came after 2012 and visited us, you might have seen it from this perspective. But we're going to go inside, so you'll get an idea of what it looks like from the inside out. Okay. All right. So now this is from the inside of the breakfast nook. Now remember, this was Louis and Lucille's bedroom. until the mother-in-law passed away. And what year did she pass away? 1946.
46.
Okay. And so this was their bedroom. And it's a small room. And again, obviously went through many changes. The wallpaper on the ceiling. And I just want one thing in this room that I want people to see, there's the shelving system, is that you definitely didn't see. Well, we have this gold-plated plate of Louis and Lucille right here. And the public, they don't have access to this portrait, this picture right here, like that.
Beautiful.
So that's just like kind of a close-up. And again, there's a view into the garden right up through this window, which is being worked on right now. So nix that view. So we're gonna head upstairs. The house is dark. And like everybody knows, the second floor is a lot different in feeling than the first floor. It's a little more intimate upstairs. And a lot of what you see on the second floor is available to the public, but there's a couple things that you probably, I'm sure you haven't seen. Let's take a look. I'll show you. So let's head right up. And one thing I wanted to point out was the guest bedroom. So now, the guest bedroom, everybody's seen looking in, but now we're gonna do the guest room looking out. I'm gonna shut the door. And now we're inside the room. And you can see there's a mirrored wall over there. Just the closets are mirrored. This is from the perspective of sitting on the daybed looking out. There's a shelf system over here, like this. And we don't know too much about this room, do we, Ricky? There's not many historic pictures of this room before it was
Nope. Yeah, we have one photo of it back in the 60s, with some blue wallpaper kind of. But there seems to be rumors that Lewis might have used this as like an auxiliary den at times. Like, he might have warmed up in here if he had guests in the den, or he might have kept tapes on some of those shelves, like overflow stuff. But we really have no accurate historical record, so a lot of it's speculation.
right. Now, Selma told me that Lucille's sister stayed at the house for a little while.
Yeah.
So I always assumed that she stayed here, maybe?
She did, yep. And the sister's daughter, the one niece, Elizabeth Roll, who passed away last year, we have a tape of her giving a tour, an audio tape in the 90s, and talking about how she lived there for a couple of years. Like this was,
Okay.
this was their room. So yep.
All right. Okay. I gave a tour with Selma and Nancy Brennan.
Oh, yeah, we have that recorded too. Yep.
Okay. And I mean, a lot of the things that they were talking about the house was memories of the house before Louis and Lucille had lived here.
Right.
And that was pretty fascinating. She said that the breakfast nook, that used to be the room that the family that they used to, there's 14 people living here.
Right.
And that was the room that they used to, that was the birthing room for the Brennans.
Wow.
Yeah, the birthing room. So my crib definitely doesn't have a birthing room. Now, here's something I really wanted to show people. Now, they've walked past this a million times. I'm going to just stay here because the light is better. Okay. So here is, this thing was sitting in the closet right next to the staircase. And I walked past this thing for years. maybe 8 years before I looked inside of it. And if you look at it, it looks like a musician, it looks like a instrument case. And I thought it was like a coronet case or something. I was fascinated. And there's a tablet on here. It says number 28, and it's dated. It's got like a date on it, it says 1971. So when I opened it up, I completely freaked out because, if I can open it. And so anybody who's been to this house has completely walked past this thing, and it's an oxygen tank.
My goodness.
It's an oxygen tank. So this was, and it says emergency. So this was probably one of Lewis's oxygen tanks towards the end of his life, right?
Yeah.
It's got a little. I don't want to touch too much, but it's got some of the leather straps are worn away over times, but it's got a little instruction manual here. It's got a little instruction manual here, and yeah, Lewis was on oxygen.
Yeah, there are stories that between the Waldorf shows, he needed oxygen,
Right.
when he was staying there. So he probably brought this back home.
Right. Yes. Do you think this is from one of the Waldorf shows?
Definitely those last 5 or 6 months, because we have the first letter he writes his doctors January 1971 about shortness of breath. Then the Waldorf is March of 71, and people remembered he needed oxygen between the shows. Then he has the heart attack, and he comes home in May, and so that was probably there just in case of emergency. But I would say, the last 5, 6 months of his life, it's probably
right.
The real deal.
Yeah, this is crazy. So yeah, this has been at visitors' feet for forever. So if you came to the house, you walk past Lewis's oxygen tank. So maybe when we open back up, maybe we'll make it more visible or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But here's something I really want people to see. So this house is full of like gems like this, and when as they were going the process of opening this museum with various directors, Michael Cogswell, this is kind of the work that they had to do on a regular basis of walking into the house and just not interpreting a story, but kind of piecing together his life in context to how he lived in this house and in Corona, and just this incredible, famous, groundbreaking human being, and his surroundings, his environment, his wife, his neighborhood. Like, this is really a special place. There's nothing really like it at all. And you come to the house, you take a tour, 40 minutes, and I've seen people walk in with, they like What a Wonderful World, and they walk out and they hear about Little Rock, or they hear about the kind of racism that he dealt with his entire life, or things like that. And so for me, like this isn't just a job, it's kind of a mission, because there's nothing like this, particularly in the jazz world or even African American museums in particular. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm out here in the middle of a pandemic. So let's continue.